Okay, before we start, remember, raise your hand. Let's get the two handheld mics to you. Let us know who you are, who you're with, and if you could address a specific student athlete, that would help us up here. For those of you on Zoom, we'll field the questions from here, from the audience here. And if you have a question, please use the raise hand function. And again, reminder everybody that recording these press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. Okay, who has the first question? Front row.
Hey, Kelly Blackburn with the Niner Times. Wagner runs a really slow offense, averaging around 20 seconds per possession. How do you, as a team, think that will affect the tempo that you guys play with, considering that you guys have high success playing up-tempo basketball?
RJ.
Well, I mean, I think we just got to do a good job of just playing our pace and getting out in transition. I think if we kind of could get easy transition buckets, that can affect the whole flow of our game, and we don't have to play the slow pace. But I think we also do a good job of also finding different ways. And when we do play a slow pace, we run our half-court sets really well, we execute. So whether it's slow pace or fast pace, we should be fine.
Back of the room.
Andrew Jones, Tar Heel Illustrated, is for both you guys. I imagine you watched the Wagner game last night. How much have you had a chance to sort of dive into who they are since their game ended and arriving here today?
Armando.
Yesterday in practice, we kind of went through both team stuff a little bit, and last night, obviously we all watched the game, but we went over Wagner film last night too, and I mean, like she said, they do get on the transition some. Yesterday, I thought they did a great job in transition, but in the half court, they definitely play slow. So it's one of those things where we got to limit our turnovers, because it's kind of like playing against UVA, where every possession really matters. But if we can get a big lead and they have to play faster, I think that'll help us too.
RJ.
I'll probably say what Mondo said. And we can't just take like the halfway decent early looks, kind of just get a good shot, a great shot actually, and get the ball inside. I know we have some advantage with our bigs, Mondo, Jay Walsh, Jay Witt. So if we establish the post presence, that should be an advantage for us.
To our left.
Sort of follow up, Michael said from Quincy News, sort of follow up on that first question. This is a team, I think, that has 7 players. They just played last night. How much will you stress wearing them out by increasing the tempo and maybe even playing faster than you guys normally play?
I don't think that'll matter, honestly. You look at a program like that they win their first NCAA tournament game, and I don't think it'll be a matter of fatigue with them. I mean, they're just as hungry as us, and they're on one of the biggest stages that they'll be on. And so I don't think that's really a matter. In fact, I think it's just more of us just playing our game and not taking anybody lightly and limiting turnovers and just sticking to what we do.
RJ.
I agree with Mondo.
Well said. Well said.
Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. Just wondered about y'all's emotional state today. Are you, after what happened last year, you're back in the NCAA tournament. Is this fun? Is there a lot of pressure involved? You've experienced all kind of highs and lows, so where are you emotionally right now for both of you?
I mean, first and foremost, I'm glad to be back. Just playing in March, especially in March Madness, it's a great feeling, and it's the type of feeling that you've always wanted, you dreamed of as a kid. You kind of just watch, half-court shots, game winners. But just to be back in this position feels great, not only for us but for the program, just to get Carolina back onto the map. And we're hungry to win, and we set a lot of goals, and one of the goals was to be in March Madness and do well. And we're back, so we just got to do a good job of our preparation, our mindset going into these games, because at the same time everyone's hungry and everyone wants to win. So we have to have that in the back of our minds.
Back at that.
No.
Okay. Front row.
Okay, what's your thoughts on playing here at the Spectrum Center and just in general staying close to home and being able to still have your fans and their energy nearby? What does that mean to you guys?
I mean, it's huge for us because Charlotte, obviously, we played here early this year versus Oklahoma, and we sold it out, and it was probably 98% UNC fans, and we're expecting that same type of turnout for these games. So it's great to be able to have 2 home games in a place that we all love and are familiar with.
I mean, I love playing in Charlotte. I feel like we were just here, and so far the 2 times we played in Charlotte, we were 2-0. So hopefully we can keep that streak going. But I mean, just the overall environment, the fan support is great. So I mean, why not play here in front of your fans?
Hunter Bailey with the Highway 49 podcast. You guys talked earlier about a team winning their first NCAA tournament game, your opponent tomorrow. How much does experience, obviously you guys have been here before, how much does that matter in games like this in March?
It definitely plays a factor, I think, but it's March at the end of the day, and really anything can happen. I mean, you'll see it all throughout the tournament. It'll be teams getting upsetted and just different things like that. So really it's just a matter of the teams that are the most locked in and most together and make the least amount of mistakes.
To our left.
Adam Smith with Inside Carolina. For both of you guys, just wondering what it was like Sunday watching the selection show, sort of waiting it out and seeing if you would be a one seed or not, and also just seeing your name back in the bracket after the absence from last year. What was that whole sort of, time like?
I mean, it felt good just to, sit as a team and just kind of watch the selection show Sunday and kind of have emotions, whether you're going to be a 1 seed or 2 seed. So you're not really knowing what to expect, hopefully expecting the best. But just to see our name be number 1, I think there's a congratulations to us because of all the hard work we put throughout the whole year and even the preseason, rebuilding a whole new team. And, we were just happy, but at the same time, just ready to work.
Armando.
I agree with what RJ said. We were super excited to get the 1 seed, but we know we got to just come with our A game because just like our junior year, we beat a 1 seed. So if we don't come ready to play, then anything can happen.
To our right, aisle.
Brendan Marks from The Athletic. RJ, you said you don't know what your future is going to be, but Armando, you've got at most 6 more college games left. Has that sort of dawned on you, and how is that, sort of impacting your mentality going into the tournament?
I think we all got that same mentality. It's win or go home for all of us, and obviously we want to go far in this tournament. And for me, I really just been taking everything day by day. I really haven't even looked too much into when it's all over, but my goal and our goal is for when it's all over for some confetti to be dropping.
Back left.
There have been in recent years some 16 teams that have taken down number 1s more so than in the past. Why do you think the disparity has shrunk a little bit and that you're starting to see these upsets a little more?
So much talent all around college basketball, and I mean, you get a lot of teams now with a lot of older guys. Really anything can happen now, and like I said, yeah, just really all of the transfer portal and just so many different guys being in so many different places now. It's really tough to know what can happen.
Any other questions here? Questions on Zoom? Use the raise hand function if you have a question. Anyone else here? Okay, guys, thank you. We'll start with Coach Davis at 12:05, so about 5 minutes. Okay, we're about to start with Coach Hubert Davis of North Carolina. Okay, questions, please raise your hand. Let's get the handheld mic to you. Let us know who you are and who you're with. First one up here, front row.
Hey, Coach. Kelly Blackburn from the Niner Times. What's your thoughts on playing here in the Spectrum Center and in general being able to, I guess, stay close to home and being able to still have your fans around and their energy? What does that mean to you?
No, I think it's a huge deal, to be able to be close to campus where a lot of our fans can travel and be able to support this team and this program. We played here earlier in the year in the Jordan Classic, and we played Oklahoma, and we had a number of fans here. And so just to have an opportunity to be here in Charlotte and play close to home is a big deal for us, and hopefully that helps us play at our best tomorrow.
Middle of the room to our left.
Hey, Hubert. Ben Portnoy with Sports Business Journal. Wanted to ask you a lot of discussion about changes to the tournament, the format, expansion, things like that. I'm curious kind of where you fall on that and what you feel like is kind of the future of the NCAA men's basketball tournament and where it might go moving forward.
Yeah, one of the things that I try to stay away from is, making comments and thinking about things that I have absolutely no control of, and I have no control of that. The only thing that is in front of me is, as a coach, trying to prepare this team to be the best that it can be every year, and whether the tournament stays the same or it expands or changes, it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this tournament, and it's something that we're really excited about.
Back left.
Coach, Hunter Bailey with the Highway 49 podcast. I saw online that, this is a two-part question, by the way. I saw online your favorite rapper is Lil Durk. Curious how you came across Lil Durk and why he's your favorite.
Yeah, my wife texted me. I don't know why everybody's so surprised at that. I'm 53. I'm not that old. And so, I do. I like Lil Durk. I like Meek Mill. I like Biggie, Rod Wave. And so they asked me to pick my favorite, and it's Lil Durk. And so I just love his music and listen to it all the time, especially before games. And it's something that I've done for a long time.
And part two to that, you were drafted in the 90s, played 12 years in the league. When you think about rappers in the NBA now, and then, you had AI, Shaq back then, you think guys like Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant now. What do you think the connection is between music and basketball across, whether it be college or the NBA?
Well, I think there is a connection. We're all, all of us love music, and, all those different artists come to our games, and we get an opportunity to be able to meet and develop relationships with them. And so, and in some sense, we're all entertainers. And so, being able to develop relationships and to be able to have those relationships, I think is something that's really important. But it's always been, whether it's music and basketball, it's something that there's always been a connection. I think it's always will be, and it's always been a great connection.
Second row to our right.
Hubert, Mark Cannizzaro from the New York Post. There's been, in the last few years, some pretty significant upsets we've seen. Obviously, St. Peter's been on a run a couple years ago, and FDU last year. What makes Wagner most dangerous? What are the things that you're, from what you've seen on film, are you expressing to your players that makes them the biggest threat to you?
Well, one, they're a really good basketball team that's extremely well coached. In order, just for their conference tournament to get to the NCAA tournament, they had to win 3 games on the road. That's real. To be able to do that, and then to beat a very good Howard team on a neutral site. It's a team that is very confident, a team that can really shoot. They're outstanding defensively. I already mentioned that they're extremely well coached, and they're excited about the opportunity about playing us. And it doesn't matter what conference, where you come from. If you're a part of this tournament, you've experienced success at some stage, at some way throughout the season, which allows you to be successful. And Wagner has our full attention because they are deserving of having our full attention, and we're excited about the challenge of playing a really good Wagner team.
I have two questions, but the first one is, what's your hype-up song that you like to listen to? And the second one is, what's the expectations for Elliott and his gameplay, considering this is his first March Madness?
The first question is Started From and Backdoor from Lil Durk. And what was your second question?
What's the expectations for Elliott and his gameplay, since this is his first March Madness?
Well, I mean, it's first for Harrison too. It's first for Pax. It's first for a lot of guys, and our job and our expectation is to be the best that we can be. Really, in three areas that we've identified all years for us to be really good defensively, rebounding the basketball, and taking care of the basketball. But most importantly, I want these guys to enjoy this experience and have fun, and that's something that is expected of them throughout the rest of the tournament.
Other questions, we'll also incorporate Zoom. If you have a question on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Next question to our right.
Hubert David Hale with ESPN. Your roots in the ACC go back a long way. When you see something like yesterday, Clemson filed a lawsuit, FSU obviously did a couple months ago, I know there's a lot of sort of concern over the future of the league, the direction of the league, the direction of college sports in general.
I didn't hear about it.
So Clemson filed a lawsuit essentially challenging the grant of rights. Many people would assume that is a first step towards trying to leave the conference. Okay. Do you worry about sort of the future of college athletics in general and why it's being driven largely by football, and particularly given the history of basketball in this conference, that those conversations are sort of unfolding the way they are?
Yeah, that's the first that I've heard of that. And again, just, staying away from commenting on things that I'm not in a position to make those type of decisions. You mentioned that I have a long history of the ACC, and you're right. I've always felt like the ACC was the best conference, specifically in college basketball, but in general. I remember it, for me, experiencing the ACC for myself when there was only 8 teams and you were playing each other twice. My senior year was the first year that we actually had to get on an airplane, and that's when Florida State '92 joined the conference. And so things change, but I've always loved the ACC, and I've always felt like it was the best conference. And my hope is that this conference not only will stay together, but even get stronger.
Hubert, Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. Welcome to Charlotte.
Yeah.
With your players before a game like this, do you go with only positive vibes and uplifting sorts of emotions, or do you remind them that in this very building, UMBC beat Virginia in the first 16-1 upset ever in 2018?
I don't talk to them about that. I don't even know what age those guys were when that happened. I mean, one of the things that I always talk to the guys is to focus on what is real, and what is real is our preparation, our practice, and our play versus Wagner tomorrow. That's the only thing that we have control of, and that should be something that's celebrated and enjoyed. And we're excited about the challenge of competing in the NCAA tournament and competing against Wagner. And it's not necessarily uplifting things. It's focusing on truth and what is real. And we have a game tomorrow at 2:45, and our job and our responsibility is to play our best game tomorrow.
Hubert, obviously Harrison does a lot for you guys, but what have you noticed about him offensively these last few weeks, and kind of highlighted on film to kind of get him going again on that end?
Yeah, Harrison's just a huge piece for us on both ends of the floor. You mentioned offensively, his ability to score in many different ways is a huge factor for us. And, we've just got to find some ways to be able to get him more looks around the basket, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. And I feel like over the last 2 or 3 weeks, a majority of his shots have been from three, and he can really shoot the basketball, but I think his gift offensively is his versatility. And so those are things that we have talked about. Those are things that we have worked on at practice, and my hope can be put into play tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.